Hi everyone, my name is Jake and welcome to Spirit Guide Chat. Thank you for joining me this week. Just so you know, I cover current events each week, and I appreciate any comments or questions that you may have about current events because I will answer those questions in future videos. Also, please like and subscribe. I appreciate the love and support. Um, all right. So to kind of recap from last time, kind of did not. I have quite a chaotic day today, so I didn't really look back. Usually, I look back to kind of refresh my memory if something popped up. Um, I did check in about this fighting in Iran if it was going to end in April, which it has with the ceasefire. And I understand that there are still attacks going on, but overall, it is. And we'll check in about that ceasefire, how that will go. Um, and I did mention that if the 15-point plan, this was a couple weeks ago, that 15-point plan from Iran was a starting point, which I did say it was, and which has been confirmed that that was the starting point with negotiations. So, the first thing I want to talk about, speaking about the ceasefire, is to see if it will continue to be successful overall. And that does not mean, and I think I mentioned this last time, did not mean that there won't be any kind of attacks, because I'm sure there will be with ceasefires. This is not the first ceasefire where there are occasional attacks. So let's see if the ceasefire will be successful in Iran. Let's take a touch base. And then I'll have a follow up question, and something just jumped out. So I have the Knight of Cups that popped out just now. That there's going to be some other proposals coming out, which is not surprising. They're still in actively negotiating right now. They're supposed to meet up in Islamabad, and it's about financial. The Queen of Pentacles. I think this is what I mentioned a while back. I did early on when I was fighting that was how it was going to end with negotiation financials. Surprise, money, right? We're talking about oil-rich countries and money. Um, the We're starting out with the Emperor's card. Normally, this is Russia. I don't think, in regards to what we're talking about the ceasefire, this is not talking about that. This is talking about um, the parties making sure that they're taking care of. United States wants to get certain things, Israel too, as well as what Iran wants. It's being crossed by the Seven of Cups, so they're trying to align their values. So kind of like what I was going, continue on what I was saying. The challenge is how to align each other's wants into a more permanent agreement. Right now, there's just disagreements at the foundation of the reading with the Five of Swords. There's a lot of disagreements going on what is going to be acceptable. In the recent past, there's been planning with the Two of Wands. This has been in the works for a while now to get an exit out. The Six of Swords is a good card that there are moving out of troubled waters. I feel like the ceasefire is going to continue to behold. And here's the Lover's card. I'm covering up the naughty bits for YouTube. Um, so there is going to be some kind of agreement soon, sooner than later. And here's the offer right here, the Knight of Cups that popped up again. What's coming in from the outside environment? There's a hidden agendas. Not surprised when you're talking about diplomacy and countries. Everybody has their own agenda that they have. Trump is in the hopes and fears in here with the Emperor card. Um, and Here's the arguments going on. So I think this is the spirits telling me that even though that's a no card, there's going to be skirmishes. We can continue on, but then there's going to be victory for once. So I think Spirit's telling, it's saying that there is going to be occasional conflicts, strikes, and things like that in the meantime, but there is going to be an agreement, and eventually down the road. So, and what I mean agreement is a more permanent agreement. So there's that. Okay. One last thing, I was question about the Middle East is what will be the ramifications of this war, the on the Middle East? What spirit? What will be the ramifications of this war on the Middle East? Previous readings, I mentioned that it's going to be a while for Iran to have a more moderate regime. I feel like it's eventually going to be a woman leader, or women are going to be the lead in creating a more democratic environment, but it's still going to be a while before this happens. Also, I prior to the United States attacking and Israel attacking Iran, Spirit already mentioned that this caused them to delay. I think it would have happened sooner. It's always been, this is where free will interferes sometimes with timing and the scope of things. I think Iran was on the path of becoming a more democratic country, but with our interference in Israel's, that it caused this to be delayed and furthered on. But it eventually will happen down the road. Okay, let's take a look at the Middle East as a whole. What's the ramifications of this one? Okay. There's going to be proposals happening across the board. There's going to be more new relationships created because of this between the Middle Eastern countries. Um, Temperance is crossing this. There's going to be imbalance. I think this is the current situation with there's imbalances right now, and there's going to be proposals to equalize these imbalances that have been existing in the Middle East. Um, there is already planning going on between these Gulf countries with the Two of Wands. In the recent past, there's definitely going to be walking away with the Eight of Cups. They're walking away from what used to be. So, in essence, this what I'm getting already and feeling is that the Middle East is actually going. This is going to be a better thing in the future for the Middle East, where these new proposals to put people on a more equal plane in a more cooperative Middle East. The Four of Swords is crowning this reigning, so this is some rest and I think there will be some retreat from a lot of this fighting that's been going on in recent time, and this is a sign for new beginnings with the Fool card in the near future. There's going to be new ideas coming forth with the Page of Swords, maybe more younger, a new generation of individuals coming into light in the Middle East into leadership positions that will help. There will be celebrations and collaborations with Three of Cups. The fear is there's going to be some painful endings. I think there are, with the Page of Swords, like I said, there's going to be younger people, so these older regimes, and not just Iran, I'm talking about other Gulf states too, are going to, in the hopes and fears, it's going to end, and there's going to be a new generation taking hold. And then the Six of Cups is the outcome card. So this is meaning some nostalgia, joy. I think when the Middle East was a little more, people were probably thinking, well, when was the Middle East ever a peaceful area? But there were more collaborations in the past, and I think this is what's going to happen in the future. But it's going to take hard work with the Ten of Wands. This from the bottom of the deck, you have the Seven of Cups. There's a lot of choices and decisions have to be made. But again, this will lead to abundance and new opportunities with the Ace of Pentacles. So this again, like I was saying, I was already feeling that what Spirit was telling is that overall, in the long run, this will be for this what is happening now will benefit the Middle East in the long run. It's just in the short time, the short or the present moment, I should say. It's hard to see. It's been stressful. It's been creating anxiety in many people, but in the long run, it is going to work out for the better. Okay, so all right. So right now, it's been announced, not surprising from the Justice Department, that Pam Bondi does not have to testify because she's no longer AG. However, there is Democrats who are saying, I don't think so, that she still has to testify. She still has that subpoena out, whether she's AG or not. Because we've had, you know, non-government people like former president, former first lady, former cabinet member who was subpoenaed to testify. So why shouldn't Pam Bondi had to do it? So there's going to be a call for contempt from the Democrats, and also Nancy Mace has also said that she will vote for contempt as well. So this may be a sign that she's going to have to testify anyways. So let's take a look to see if Pam Bondi will testify with the Oversight Committee. Will Pam Bondi end up testifying with the Oversight Committee? Of course, this is a way for them to the administration to drag out the process through the courts. So, all right. We're starting right off with the justice part. So, fairness, truth, clarity, what is being crossed by the Ten of Cups. So there's just a broken family, shattered dreams. I think there's just this connection between the administration and what Congress wants. Keeping the cards close to them with the Four of Pentacles at the base of the reading in the past. It's the Hierophant, the government in here, working together. There is some teamwork and collaboration with the Three of Pentacles. This is talking about there might be some more Republicans joining in with the Democrats in regards to the contempt order. The Queen of Swords is coming in the near future. I think that they are putting clear boundary and saying to her, you're going to be, if you violate the subpoena, you'll be held in contempt. New opportunities with the Page of Pentacles from the outside. This is going to show a victory, possibly for Congress to do this. The hopes and fears is the World card here, ending and beginning of a cycle, and the Page of Wands, some news. So I think she's going to end up. That's consistent with what I've read in the past. That, and here's the bottom, the base is greed. Why? The Devil card, not surprising that he's popping in there. I seriously think that Pam Bondi will come in and have to testify because she doesn't want to mess around and go to jail. Yeah. So that is okay. The next thing, I know last week I talked about when last week was when Pam Bondi got fired, and they mentioned about Lee Zeldin being the replacement, and I said there's going to be problems with that. The temporary AG is Todd Blanche. He hasn't been nominated. There hasn't been anybody who's been nominated officially. So let's take a look if Todd Blanche will be the next AG. Will Todd Blanche Spirit be the next Attorney General? Will Todd Blanche be the next Attorney General? All right. Here's the Ten of Cups here, having alignment, relationships, the crossed by the Four of Pentacles. There's a lot of greediness, self-protection. So there is, even though what Todd Blanche is saying that he would be honored, I think in some part of him, he doesn't want it because there will be more attention drawn on him. And he has to go through the hearings and things like that, which of course he's going to have more questions about X. Shocker, not shocker. um, he wants the independence with the Nine of Pentacles that he has right now, and the Six of Pentacles is in the recent past. I think he's been just not surprising with a lot of people in this administration. Entertainment purposes only. I think there's been money exchanges between people for doing things for the president. But he is going to be offered with the Ace of Cups. I think this is going to be offered, and he is going to move ahead in the process with the Wheel of Fortune. There is going to be action taking place by the Senate with the Magician. There's the Judgment card from the outside. This is going to be a new phase in the Justice Department, hopes and fears. The collaboration will continue between the Justice Department and stuff in that. But then it's saying the death card, there's the minor death card, I should say, with the Five of Cups. There's going to be disappointment, loss, and grief. So there might be issues with him. There might be issues. Here's the Five of Cups, that he looks like the Knight of Shining Armor, but the Ten of Swords are coming in. There might be issues, especially with stuff. Same thing with Lee Zeldin. I think there's going to be issues with the Senate wanting to approve him. It might be even with the committee when they have to go through with the committee that goes, the Judicial Committee, I believe, in the Senate goes through for the AG. There might be tough questions with about Todd Blanche that he might not get through committee. So TBD, right? So the cards are saying no, but I think he's going to be nominated. So, oh, I forgot to ask this follow-up question. I do have written down that Pam Bondi will reveal anything if she testifies. So let's this be the next question, Spirit. Is Pam Bondi going to testify, or when she testifies, I'm sorry, when she testifies, is she going to reveal anything of significance? Oh, I got three cards in there. They're already collaborating because I think they think that she might end up having to do it, or she may be saying this. She's going to be disciplined with the King of Swords, and she is going to have a lot of strength as well. So no, it's going to be worth much what she's going to say, but we'll see. She'll probably say it's an executive privilege a lot of the conversation, or he'll plead the fifth too. All right, so the Magician card coming in, she is going to have the talking stick and come in strong. Not surprising in here. The Three of Swords. I think she's still recovering from those loss. That's part of the reason. It's not the main reason, but there is a part of her that doesn't want to come in because she just wants to move on. She doesn't want to be associated with them anymore. She feels betrayed. She doesn't want to be there. Page of Wands. Uh, she's going to have the very much like she was in the last hearing that you saw her where the Dow is 50,000. She's going to speak her truth. She'll probably have another binder, won't be surprised. She's going to have a lot more freedom because she is no longer attorney general, so she doesn't have to worry about her job. She doesn't have that job anymore, so if she could have a lot more freedom in what she can say. The Queen of Swords is in the past. That's her as the Attorney General. Um, she's going to feel like she did well in this hearing with the Six of Wands. This is an ending and beginning of the cycle with the World card. I think this is her way of um, creating alignment with the administration, with the Ten of Cups. From the outside, there is going to be some proposal from the outside. So I don't know if that's with the administration or maybe she's even protecting herself. with the Justice Department or with maybe other members of Congress and things like that, the Knight of Cups, is that her hope is there is someone that's going to propose something. Um, and then she is going to reveal something with the Ace of Pentacles. I keep on getting that it's going to be a money factor. And it's going to be it's going to be what I'm just getting again, and that why I'm laughing is it's going to be people that she felt wronged her in the administration, that she is going to reveal some kind of money connection, something that's going to be brought up. And maybe that's where the collaboration is coming from. Maybe somebody in Congress is going to bring up about a money connection, and she's like, "I'll talk about it. That's fine." This is her way of revenge that way. All right. All right. Recently, I'm laughing because recently, uh, Vice President Vance was in Hungary doing a rally for Mr. Orban for re-election, and this is where we are campaigning for another country that's a a figurehead for Russia, which is so bizarre. So bizarre timeline we're in for many things, but even this to have the vice president of the United States at a campaign rally for another country. We don't do that. That's not what we do. But I guess now we are. So I just wanted, and so at this rally, he got embarrassed by the president because he didn't pick up the phone the first time, and then he was waiting for him to talk. And when he did talk, he wasn't very thrilled at first before he heard the cheers of having to talk to JD. So let's take a look to see what Vance's real thoughts of him being vice president. Let's see how he feels about being vice president. Let's take a look now that he's been in there for what is it now, 18 months? No, not quite 18 months. All right. All right. So, very fast moving stuff going on with the chariot card. He feels like it's going crazy right now. The sun card's on the side. There, there is he's not really happy right now about how things are going. Kind of like everybody else. That's probably why. And he wasn't in agreement with, from reports that he wasn't in agreement about going to Iran. I don't think it's going as the way he's expected, and it's moving too fast. However, he's made a lot of money uh, participating in money exchanges, probably betting, entertainment purposes only. Um, in the past, he felt very disappointment and possibly even thought about walking away from this. That's kind of surprising because he wants to be president. But I think he did. There was maybe a moment or two that he wanted to walk away from this. The strength cards over him over this, he feels very he's despite his disappointments, he still feels very powerful, and that's maybe one of the reasons why he stayed. He's because he's looking at this long-term view of what he's planning and the investment that he's been making. um the Empress cards in here too. There might be a Russian element in this about these payments that are coming through, which would be surprising. From the outside, a lot of negativity. He knows people do not like him. He's fully aware of that. This is in his hopes and fears. He fears about this tower moment. He knows that there's something's going to happen. Whether he knows about his health, whether he knows about other shenanigans, he knows this is in the back of his head and fearing that. And then at the end of the day, he views this office as a financial opportunity, and that's why he stays. And that's the greediness. That seems like the theme with this administration. The greediness and the way to make money while being in power is the reason for staying. So that's the thoughts there. So disappointed, but loves the money making part of it. Oh, so gross. Well, everybody else has been struggling, no matter where you. I mean, any American that's struggling, and the greediness, the excessiveness, and that's in this with this administration. Not that this hasn't existed, but the level of it is ridiculous. All right. This question I added before I came on because it popped up. And that is about the First Lady, Melania Trump. She just released a statement about Epps, which is kind of shocking because there hasn't been really anything in recent. It came by surprise. Like people are asking why did she release a statement? Like why now? What's the behind it? So let's ask Spirit, like why did Melania? And by the way, the statement stating that she didn't know anything about, she didn't know him well enough. Um, she didn't know about anything that was going on illegal. Um, so let's just say why Melania released a statement. She's also encouraging her statements also was encouraging Congress to continue to investigate, which is kind of surprising considering her husband doesn't want any more investigations. So let's take a look. Why did this Melania releasing that statement? What's the motivation behind it? The lovers card's coming in here. I think she's worried about some kind of relationship with somebody. There has been rumors, entertainment purposes only, a lot. I'm saying this because of what we're talking about. Um, that there was a relationship with Epps and her at one time, and maybe she knows that's possibly might come out. So let's take a look at why she's doing it. So this is the Queen of Cups. I think she feels like something's about to come out. Whether it was communicated to her directly or indirectly that this information exists, and maybe she's getting ahead of it. So what's this being crossed by the Nine of Wands? Um, I think she's feeling overwhelmed and on the defensive because of this information that's out there, and she knows it, and she's getting worried. Yeah, difficult decisions. Two of Swords is the foundation of the reading. In the recent past, a lot of conflict and disagreements. I think she has been PO'd that there's been information about her targeting her. She's been slammed left and right, rightfully so. But she is trying to move forward past this. Then here comes the Wheel of Fortune crowning this reading. She is she knows this is eventually going to come out. She's reminiscing about past times, happier times. Um, but I feel with the Page of Swords coming in that there's going to be something communicated about some information. This is coming from the outside, making decisions. Two of Pentacles. Whoever has this information is debating how they're going to release this information. Here's the betrayal and the hopes and fears again. What I've been feeling and what I'm saying, this is just confirmation that she knows about this information, and she feels betrayed that someone's going to betray her. And here's the surprise: the Page of Cups. It's going to happen. It's going to happen and bring balance. And a lot of people are going to be celebrating about this. Yeah, before stuff about Trump going to come out. There's going to be more stuff connecting, moving closer to his inner circle that's going to come out. And the connection with Melania is going to come out. And she's trying to get ahead of it to say, don't look over here, look over there, you know? It's so it's going to, there is information going to come out. So let's end with a general reading with the oracle cards. I'm bringing back these Seasons of the Witch Ostara oracle cards because we're in the Ostara season. It's with spring, and again, I love. I don't know if you can see. I'm trying to with the light. They're shiny on the side. Iridescent. That's the word. Great artwork. Great artwork. So Seasons of the Witch, Ostara Oracle by Lorraine Anderson and Julia Diaz. So I got it at a local store here, but I believe they do sell them online. So check it out. All right, Spirit. General reading for everyone out there. What is the message? I'll start out with 3 cards, and then if I need to do some more elaboration, we'll pull some more. Let's start out with 3. Trying to be careful because they're very slick. All right. Okay. So, first card that's being pulled is Painted Eggs. Painted Eggs. So, um, in order to seek truth, you have to master your craft. Meaning that um, when we're seeking the truth, we have to pay attention to our own environments. You know, what we can control and what we can't. With a lot of things that's going on right now, we can't control a lot of it. But and this is something I've mentioned before that Spirit has brought to our attention to communicate to you all is that we have to focus on the day-to-day things that we can't control. We have more control than we can think of. Well, I'm not talking about the macro level, about things that are going on in the world, but things in your local community, what you do, who you associate with, how you spend your time, your energy, that is all controllable. Okay? Moving forward, you have the Easter egg tree. And this is funny, it comes out. This card is representing the magic of community care. And what did I just mention about your local environment? What you can do for the community around you, whether it's volunteering, helping a neighbor, um, even helping a neighbor is even talking to your neighbors. There's many times where I have even been um, bad at talking with some of my neighbors and just saying hi, hello when you see the neighbors. Is simple things like that can make someone and make a difference in your surroundings. Seed blessings is the next card. Whisper and weave the breath of magic into what you foresee. You know, and that can be the breath of magic. You know, that can be. It doesn't necessarily mean casting spells and things like the literal sense. Is meaning looking at things in a lens of more positivity, looking at things at what you can do than what you can't do. Also bringing love and light to the environment around you because perspective um, makes a difference, right? Um, and in the Irish Moth, and I'm going to pull another set of 3 to further explain, is may you feel nourished in all ways and turning a luck is coming. So doing these things, these little things that I just mentioned, can change how we view things and can change how you feel about luck in that sense. Okay? Community garden to be part of the community. Again, Finding ways to be part of your local community is important. I think with technology and things like that, we as a collective have veered away from each other, but finding ways to connect and mingle with your neighbors, even attending a local fair or a farmer's market or something like that, and connecting with community members of your community, even like taking a few minutes to connect with people in your community is going to help us internally and create that magic that was mentioned. The last card I'm going to mention is the Lamb. Nothing is ever late, and everything is as it should be. Trust is the self. So trusting in what's going on, the allowing spirit and the divine to guide us through this time in this life, this lot of changes going on, knowing that eventually this is leading to greater and better changes that will help us all. Um, in making changes to help create that betterness is never too late. We can always make changes, and no change is too little or too late. All right, with that, again, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and more importantly subscribe so you don't miss next week's video. Until then, bye bye.